kickstand now, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the night. Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I rolled over something.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
SC Project branding logo, that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand now, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the night. Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I rolled over something.
Money work.
Yeah.
El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
SC Project branding logo, that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand now, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the night. Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I rolled over something.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
What's up, shit? I'm starting.
Money work.
This miso's coming.
Se arregla con dinero.
Okay, last throw, baby. So come here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand now, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the night. Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I rolled over something. I love how she showed up with the coffee with the last minute, son. What's good, everybody? Welcome to FreeStyle Sunday, guys. Super excited to have Revmeera on tonight. I can assure you guys it's gonna be a good show, dope show. We are gonna be doing things a little bit different moving forward, right? We're gonna shrink down the show. I can't say shrink. We're gonna put it in a time frame about an hour and a half. So it's gonna be nice and compressed. We'll do like 3 spotlights for sponsors, so you guys can kind of hear about motivation, Manscaped, of course, and bring out some guests. We're gonna be rocking the clips, okay, as we used to before. And at some point, I am gonna be moving back to the garage so you guys can see the bikes and do the startups and everything else. That's my dog freaking out. But if you're tuned in, you're here, you're rocking with us, guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Why not? It doesn't cost you a thing. All right, people are coming in, everyone's excited. It should match the amount of people that's actually here, and it's not matching. So you guys are failing me at the moment. All right, let's do what we do best and say what's good to everyone that's here for now, and then from there we'll be moving forward. Miso, get out of here. You guys know that. You guys know my dog is always part of the show, so it's all good. Oh man, super excited about this one, guys. Here we go. Nice. There we go. By the way, heads up, I am working on getting like either an assistant or someone that's going to be rocking with me that they'll be doing a lot of this stuff on the back end, so you won't see me kind of looking away and everything else. We have Bud Tussino's in the building. Yo, what's up? Hope you guys took advantage of this week's weather. I rode a little bit. Me personally, enjoyed some of the nice weather. Chacon Jeremy's in the building. Yo, yo. We have Power Moto. Oh man, it's nice to see everyone on here, man. Really nice. Governor D Nice is in the building. What's good, bike fam? Let's get started. By the way, I will be dropping Revmeera's channel link in the description. She's very active on Instagram. Her link will appear on the screen when she comes on, so give her a follow. She's blowing up, coming up in the scene. Very refreshing, very energetic, and a classy lady, all right, for you thirsty boys out there, just so you know. All right, so it's gonna pull up a couple of more people that's on here, and then from there we'll get right to it, guys. Keeping the time frames rocking at a reasonable time. We have Solo Rider, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. Very integral part of the channel. Gives a lot of feedback and is passionate just as much as I am about making things go really well. By the way, guys, very excited. I did open up a Patreon. The link's in the description. Definitely feel free to join Best Man tier for your chance to win up to $1,000 worth of giveaway prizes. So really cool. I've done a new schedule for videos moving forward on YouTube. I'm dropping about 3 videos. I haven't come up with a really cool name yet, but it's gonna be from Friday, Saturday, Sunday upload, and then shorts, 3 shorts throughout the week, and then the live stream. So we're gonna keep it nice and consistent. So it's definitely a really cool value. You actually get to see some of these videos first, give your own feedback. So really cool. Let's see who else is on here, and that way we can get moving. We have Sasong's in the building. He's also a big fan of Revmeera, since she rides a BMW S1000RR like he does. Kuya is in the building. That's a Filipino name for you guys that don't know. Dragoness Moto, by the way, she did a video with Revmeera. So very cool things all over. Right, pretty much really cool. I gotta say, I'll tell you guys why I think it's pretty cool. And of course, Wifey's in the building showing love. Hopefully I don't miss anybody. I know there's more people coming on, but we're gonna keep it moving. Not gonna keep things too long, guys, and we want to make sure we make the best out the time. Keep it nice and compressed in terms of time. Again, lots of people on here. Hit the thumbs up. It helps quite a bit. But before we do any of that stuff, all right, I want to kind of give you a little bit quick introduction of Revmeera, okay? Just so you guys get a general idea who she is and why I think it's really cool to actually have her on the show and stuff like that. Take a quick look, boys.
Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Wow, I'm finally doing this. I've talked about posting my first YouTube video for so long, and here I am, almost 2 years later. Well, better late than never. My name's Amira, I'm 22 years old, and to put it simply, I'm just a girl who loves motorcycles. I've always wanted a bike. I was drawn to how freeing it seemed, and every ounce of my being wanted to feel that. I actually started this channel and my Instagram before I even had one. I went from seeing bikers out in public and begging them to let me rev their bikes, to now being on my second one. That's how Revmeera started. I would ask to rev, so it's Revmeera, Amira. Anyways, I went through the process of taking the motorcycle safety course, meeting other bikers, actually getting to ride and getting my own bike, all while hiding it from my family. I'm Middle Eastern and they would kill me. But yeah, I had all sorts of trials and tribulations for the love of riding. But the more I learned in experience, the more obsessed I became. I actually started this channel and making content because I know for a fact that I'm not alone with feeling like this. I want to share my riding journey and everything that comes along with it. I'm by no means an expert, but I'll share my experiences and what I learned along the way in hopes that I can grow with anyone who chooses to tag along for the ride. As for what you can expect to see, there will definitely be moto vlogs, different mods, installs, product reviews, insights into the bike and car community. You'll have a pretty good idea of who Revmeera is. Add some singing and a bit of crackhead energy, and you should be ready for this ride. Hopefully. Stay tuned for the madness that is Revmeera. Until then, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram, which I'll link down below. Make sure to leave a like and comment. And if you're ready, only if you're ready, are you ready?
There we go, guys. This is just a small taste of her coming on, but just before we do that, just wanted to kind of do a big shout out to our sponsors. You guys know the deal. Motivation USA is where I go to get pretty much anything and everything for my motorcycles, whether you're seeing it's a Ducati or anything else. But I'm gonna do something here because I got some pretty cool feedback here. We're gonna do a BMW. Let's do an S1000RR here. And we'll do a 2022, for example, here. All right. So here's what happened. Just kind of quickly mention, when you do pull up your bike specific of what you're doing, it basically gives you a layout of pretty much anything that's universal that's going to fit on your bike. And then you start diving into some of the more exclusive stuff that fits specifically only for your motorcycle. It's kind of an overall thing for the bike. For example, this, how do you call it? Oil and radiator guard, for example. Then you could break it down to your bike specific. So pretty much, guys, if you're looking for parts and you want to support the channel, motivationusa.com is one of the places you want to go. It's a great way to kind of give back to what we're doing here and help us continue this flow of content and bring on guests. So just wanted to kind of give you a quick update as to that. The link will be in the description if anything that you're looking for your bike or my bike or anybody else's bike. If you're not shopping, forward the link to a friend, let them support in that way. All right, let's welcome Revmeera, guys. Very excited to actually have her on. A really, really cool, classy lady. And you guys know your boy love classy ladies, so I had to bring her on. Let's give a warm welcome to Revmeera, guys. Welcome.
Hi. How's it going?
So, I am super excited to actually have you on. So just for the people that don't know, let them know where you're riding, where you're coming from and stuff like that. I know you're in Cali and stuff, and the bikes you ride. We'll do a softball question right off the bat.
All right. So I am a SoCal rider. I ride a BMW S1000 RR, the 2020 K67 version. So most recent gen.
So you know she's not messing around when people start saying K67, they're not saying BMW S1000 RR. They know what they're talking about. So they're in the mix. Okay, it's not just a facade. They don't just look cool on the bike. So really, really dope to see that. So all right, we're gonna go into the deep end really, really quickly, guys. I don't want to waste any time. I want to make this as exciting and as cool as possible. All right, right after our intro, I'm gonna keep on rocking some of these videos, guys. So Revmeera. Okay, I'm just gonna say Mira instead of, and you're gonna see her link. So definitely give her a follow, you thirsty boys. Shout out to all the thirsty boys out there. Show her some love, blow her up on Instagram or YouTube, whichever way you want to do it. Ideally, you weren't supposed to be on a bike. Your family kind of despised the feel of a motorcycle. Walk us through that. Jesus, shush.
Okay. So I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with a Middle Eastern or traditional family. I feel like this could happen in any kind of traditional sort of household, right? But as a female, as a woman, there's a lot of stuff that I can't do. And in general, I feel like with most families, riding a bike or coming out with like riding a bike, obviously people think danger. Why would you put yourself through that? You know, there's a lot that goes into that. But as a Middle Easterner, that was like unheard of. Like we're very few. We're definitely very few. But my mom was definitely against it. I think the first thing she said was, what, you wanna just stick your ass out for everyone to see it? Like, well, just riding a bike in general, right?
Whoa, calm down. The thirsty boys are in the chat, so you gotta be easy with that one.
But no, I was just like, Mom, there's a lot of easier ways to like have people like look at my ass than riding a motorcycle. Right? But she just had very negative connotations from the start. It's something that only men can do. Definitely not something a nice Arab girl would be doing. So yeah, so I brought it up multiple times, like, Mom, I want to get a bike. She just dismissed it right away, right? So I knew that I was not going to get permission for this. So the way I go about it in a lot of things in my life is ask for forgiveness, not permission. I've had to, strict parents create sneaky children. It's just, it's a thing, okay? But yeah, so what happened was I walked into a dealership just on my own. I was like, I see this like used R3, right? I did my research. Oh wait, let me backtrack just a little bit. I took the motorcycle safety course, right? I took the course and I told my mom that I took the course, and she was just like, why? Like, no, you're not getting a bike. Like, why would you do that? And I was like, Mom, I might find out that, writing isn't for me, let me just try it out. I want to at least like go about this the right way because I want to, it's my little way of like standing up, right? I'm just like, I'm gonna do it, but like I'm gonna do it the right way, And who knows, like maybe it's not for me. So I just took the course, and then like 6 months went by, and she didn't hear anything. So she might have just, thought I forgot about it or whatever. But I went into a dealership like a month after that, and I was looking at an R3, but I met someone there who introduced me to this girl named Shay, really good friend of mine. But I got close with Shay. I practiced on her bike, her roommate's bike in a parking lot. So I was just like, I dove into the bike community just on my own, just from meeting someone at a motorcycle dealership. But I got really close with Shay, and she put the bike, my first bike, the Ninja 400, under her name, and I paid her under the table for it. So that's sort of how it started. And then, when I upgraded and got the S1K, I just I just hit it all for 2 years, for 2 whole years. The first 2 years of my like writing experience and journey was completely, my mom was completely out of like the loop with what was going on.
So just to kind of stop you for a second, I'm gonna just kind of chime in here. So just so you're aware, like being against riding a motorcycle is not just the girl thing where it's like it's a mirror thing. We just don't want you to ride bikes. It's pretty much I think pretty much any family tend to be a little bit hesitant when we're talking about a loved one joining the motorcycling community where they're just gonna potentially might get themselves harmed. So it's not a you thing only or a girl thing only. So it's just more of a family love, and they just want to love and protect. So I think I've encountered that. Even other guys do. So just a quick heads up. But I want to kind of roll this clip showing you guys pretty much you on your ride going home the first night, showing them that you have a BMW S1000 and your parents not knowing. So let's take a look, thirsty boys.
Hi, Mommy! What was that? All right, everyone. So nice. Okay, hey, let me lower this music real quick, because I don't know how to say it. I'm going home to my Middle Eastern traditional Palestinian mother, who I've hid a bike from for just about over 2 years. Alright. Had to get that out of the way. But oh my god! I'm going home to my mom! She's gonna see my bike! You understand? I've lived a double fucking life. For 2 whole years! I went and took the MSF course, right? And I told my mom about it, but I was like, you know what, Mama, like, I'm gonna take it and this is just to like practice, maybe I'll find out that motorcycles aren't for me. I just want to try it out, I don't want to have any regrets. A little did she know. I went and got a bike like a few months after. Thanks to my lovely best friend, Shay.
There we go. So this is just a small clip of that video of her introducing the family to a bike that she bought unknowingly. Really, really cool video. I think it's a interesting take on going out there and grabbing a bike without having your family support. But when you did get home, it looks like your brother kind of snitched on you a little bit. And even though they were a little bit nervous, and I think your mom was probably more scared than nervous, the welcoming was still pretty warm welcome, and I think they, they value the fact that they want you to be happy more than being afraid of losing you, which I think you mentioned your brother shared. That's why I kind of rolled this clip just so people can kind of see. So afterwards, so how did things change with family and everything else? Year ago.
Honestly, it's as you said, like for that video, like they had already known, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't gonna just show up without any of them knowing. But like when they first found out, my mom literally sat me down. She was like, why do you not value your life? Like what have I done wrong for you to want to go out and like do this very dangerous activity and kill yourself, right? Like why are you trying to do that? But like I talked to my mom, I was like, look, mama, like you've known that I've always wanted this. I've always brought it up. Like even when it came to like buying like my first car, I was like, mama, I don't even want a car. Like I only want a bike. Like I told her that. And I just told her like I was going to do it regardless, and it obviously must be important to me if I did it still without your blessing, and took the initiative to hide it from you for this long. It's not just something, it's not a phase, right? It's but yeah, after like she sort of understood, and my oldest brother, not oldest, my older brother was visiting from Georgia at the time, and he sort of mediated the situation, and he was just like, look, mama, she's gonna do whatever she wants, we can't stop her, right? But do you want to like ruin the relationship with her and like lose her as a part of our family, or do you want to like just be a part of like making sure like she does it in a good way and is safe, and like we can still like be there for her, kind of thing. Like we don't want to lose her, but we also want her to be happy, kind of thing. So he mediated that, and she was a bit more understanding of it, and that's why she was a bit more excited when she saw it for the first time. But after that, anytime I go out, she comes out and she like prays over me. She does like a quick little protection prayer. But she just gets worried, in general. Like she worries about me, and then she'll bring it up a few times in conversation. She's like, okay, Amira, you've had your fun. Like, why not just sell the bike now? And I'm just like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Oh man. So she still has hopes that you're gonna back out of it. But I think so watching that video and looking at the comments, I tend to observe from afar often when it comes to YouTube. I watch people and I kind of look through, I guess, the underline of a lot of things. A lot of people walk away from it like, oh yeah, it's great how they kind of perceive the whole thing. To me, what I took away from the video, which I thought that was really dope, is the fact that the love and admiration that your family share for you, that even though they dislike something, right, it wasn't really about the bike or you not doing the bike. And I think your mom kind of masked a lot of that stuff with, oh, you want to be sexual on the bike or whatever, or it's dangerous. The bottom line here, she's just afraid of losing you. That's the thing, really. And most parents don't really say that. They rather point everything else to be like, don't do it anymore, kind of thing. But that was my walk away when after watching the video. I'm like, okay, she just really loves her and just don't want anything to ever happen to her, kind of thing. So that was kind of really, really cool. And you have this specific energy in your videos, and it's super infectious. A little crazy at times, not even gonna lie. When I started watching your video in the beginning, I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? She's like yelling and going crazy. And I'm like, it reminded me immediately of a young Yummy R6 when he was like 16. I was like, oh my God, she's going crazy. And you immediately start seeing different aspects. And the reason why I'm kind of mentioning this, you have a very infectious energy in the same space, right? You have a lot of events where a lot of people are going, and that same vibe, this is what's driving your popularity in the scene. In my personal opinion, it's not like, it's not your looks. I'm not saying that it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that here, it does help. Come on now, you thirsty boys know. But I'm just saying outside of that, when somebody has met you and spoken to you and stuff like that, and your energy, it seems like a lot of people come out for you and just kind of hang out and ride, your excitement for riding motorcycles. There's quite a few clips of that. I see you host a lot of events through Instagram, people come through. So that's really dope. And just kind of elaborate on that, like how you start getting some of these stuff together. You even rode with Nicole, which I'm going to rock one of these rolls to kind of show people some of the ride that you went through. So, yeah.
With like events and whatnot, like
Yeah,
how that
yeah. Most of your following amass is not really from social media. If you really look in depth, I think you're gonna get the thirsty boys through social media, but then I think your base is really you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Fastlane D. Fastlane D is like for the people, right? It's like he's out there very energetic, and then that's where he amassed the following, and then you know, social media tend to follow after that. That's his kind of his approach, and I feel like that's yours as well too. Yeah. So go on, do tell.
So before, like, I've gotten to this level where I can host a meet and like a good amount of people turn up. You know, I started on the 400 a week after getting the bike, like, and finally like riding on the streets with it and whatnot. I took it to the track with my friend Shay. It was an all-girls track day, but I met a good amount of people who are fairly influential on that track day. Like, I met Miss Kirati, if you know her.
No, I don't know who she is.
No worries. But basically, I met a bunch of different people on that track day who that was like the beginning, right, of like sort of who I knew in the moto community. I think at that time I didn't even have like Revmeera set up on Instagram, right? I just met these people, and then they invited me to this weekly bike night, right? It was in LA. It was a Taco Tuesday bike night. So I started going to those, and I had just gotten into riding, and my energy was super up there. And I'm, you know, I'm at Taco Tuesday, and the thing is with getting into riding, it's like getting into a whole new community of so many different kinds of people. And to me, that's always been exciting, regardless of like, even before bikes, like I just love talking to new people and just getting to know new people. And because the thing is, most of my life was fairly sheltered, right? I couldn't really hang out with people after school. Like, I couldn't really do much other than go to school and come back home while living with like my family. So to me, like that sort of built up this like inner, like just general curiosity of other people and how they live. So with that being said, like anytime I would meet like other people, I was just very open to like just getting to know them and honestly just learning more, right? And of course, as a girl entering the bike community, you know, you get a bunch of different people that are like giving their insights, and a bunch of guys sort of sworn. Not gonna lie. They're just like, wow, you're new to riding? Let me take you to the canyons. Let me teach you a little something, you know?
Can I pause you for a second? I'm gonna have to pause that for a second. I know you thirsty boys are out there and you're excited about this Revmeera. You hear she's a sheltered life. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh man, I'm up next because so I think this is gonna be a perfect time to let this one rock, guys. As you know, this company has joined us and it's a good look. And shout out to all the people that's been buying Manscaped. But if you want to link up with somebody like Revmeera, this is going to be the best shot. Let's welcome Manscaped to FreeStyle Sunday, a proud sponsor of the channel. Boy, I'm excited to tell you guys it's something you're going to have to get. Manscaped is the absolute best when it comes to men's grooming down there. Trust me, I'm good to go. Wifey would agree.
That's right.
They also provided the Performance Package 4.0. You can join me and 7 million other men worldwide by using coupon code CFNY20 for free shipping and 20% off. You won't regret it. You hit me up later, be like, man, when I got off the bike, I felt good and fresh. The Performance Package 4.0 is an absolute game changer. Here's what comes in the package. The Lawnmower Trimmer 4.0, Weed Whacker Ear and Nose Hair Trimmer. It also includes the Crop Reviver Toner, and my favorite out of everything else, a high quality boxer. It's absolutely breathable, so when you're out there on the road riding your motorcycle all day, you're not gonna sweat through it, especially with ball deodorant in combination with those boxers. Trust me, you're good to go at all time, guys. They also even include a travel case. Amazing values. The Lawnmower 4.0 has advanced technology with a ceramic blade that's going to tremendously reduce the chance of you nicking yourself. Get 20% off with free shipping with code CFNY20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code CFNY20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tool for the job with Manscaped. Without any confidence, you guys know you'd never touch someone like Revmeera. All right, so go out there, use that code, guys. It is what it is. Yo, I had to drop that right in the middle because, you know, it's just the perfect timing. All right. Truly appreciate you guys shopping with Manscaped. By the way, we're doing pretty good with them. They've been emailing me back and forth. Appreciate them being part of the channel. If you guys want to show love and support, you could definitely hit the link in the description. Use the coupon code CFNY20 for 20% off and free shipping. Really, really dope. So, I was totally gonna ask you what it's like being you in the scene with all these guys. I know they gotta be coming on strong. Sometimes we don't even know how to chill. So, so again, most people are very excited about you putting those events. I think they're going over there to ride bikes. Some, including me. You guys know I'm with Jesus. I mean, with God. I would never show up there with my thirsty game. So, really, really cool with that energy and everyone coming by. So I'm assuming there's a lot of approaches as well. Has it been kind of problematic for you going to these events and stuff like that where people kind of bother, or everyone's kind of respectful?
You know, I was definitely very excited to like just talk to like people, new people, hear their stories, sort of, I don't know, add to my collective experience of life. Right, that's really what it is, and hearing everyone's stories and just getting to know a bunch of different people, it's exciting. But I started to too many people started to know me in a sense where I like to like give everyone like the attention like that I would like in return, sort of thing. I respond to everyone, or try to at least, you know. But the more people that start knowing me, the more that they wanted, I guess, one-on-one rides, right? And it started to become a lot easier to do an event where everyone that's wanted to meet me or wanted to hang out with me can come to this event and get like a small sort of bit of like meeting me in person. Because not only is it difficult for me to like, I don't like hurting people. So if someone gets their hopes up from getting like, and I struggle a bit with like, setting boundaries. I try. I've gotten a lot better at it, right? But that's something I've had to learn just over the years of coming out of a very sheltered lifestyle, just to be completely honest. But so with more people wanting to like ride one-on-one with me, I've like had to reject more people, and it's not a fun situation. But other than that, like most people can be respectful. But that comes with like being able to like, you know, set those boundaries and not put myself in a situation where, you know, I'm like leading someone on or anything like that. But yeah, it's been a lot easier to host an event in that sense. So yeah, but with that also comes like, you know, if I were to do, I've only recently started doing rides versus like meets, you know. With rides comes like a lot of potential liability as well.
Yes.
So it's one thing. But the meets, you know, everyone just shows up and sees all the bikes, and we all get to just hang out and, you know, have a yellow Red Bull or two. So that's been pretty cool. But yeah, I'm not sure if I touched all of those points.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes sense what you're saying. It's just, you know, I'm thinking about it this way. I can definitely understand your perspective now, because in the beginning when watching your videos, right, which I think this is kind of dope, and this is one of the things I love about doing the streams. We've had like the likes of 650E, which he's watching, Dragon S Moto. You have a lot of people that comes on. I think even Solo Rider came on. Even some people that don't even vlog, they come on. What I think is dope is the fact that it gives a perspective. And the reason why I'm kind of going towards this direction is the fact that when I initially watched your first video, right? You like maybe a little Kraken vibes or whatever, or too much excitement. And then I click on the first few ones. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's lit. She's going a little crazy. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is a little bit extra. But so now it's like coming all together, like full circle. Like as you mentioned a little bit earlier, that you were more sheltered. You went to school and kind of stayed to yourself, like the way you kind of grew up. It's almost like when you get on the bike, it's almost like your introduction to the world. You're like escaping that sheltered space. So hence why, now I could see why the amount of energy that's being exploded through the screen when you're talking, and just the excitement and stuff like that. And even in one of your videos, I think, which I think is pretty cool, that you did with another young lady. I don't know her name, but I'm just going to quickly roll this real quick. You guys were working on a BMW. I think was it your bike? No, it must have been her bike. And you guys were doing a tail tidy, which was really dope. Let's take a quick look at that real quick. And then we're going to come back and talk about you working on your own bike, if it's a thing that you do, or other people work on it with you, kind of thing. Here, let's take a look, boys.
And it is hot. Let me tell you, it is hot.
Check the mic and make sure it sounds
oh
right,
my God.
boys.
I'm so hot. Whew, it's hot. Whew. Hot. So
Sorry guys, I rolled the wrong clip. This is it.
First thing you're gonna want to do is get rid of this
big old tail.
big old tail. We're gonna start by opening the seat. So let's see what's under this bad boy. Wow.
Oh, okay, okay.
This one KR. You're the double R. This is false.
That's false.
Who left this here? I can't believe. So we're gonna want to get rid of these. And for any BMW owner, you already know these screws are expensive, so hold on to them. You're gonna want to remember sort of which ones are the long ones, which ones are the short ones.
I think we like the long one.
You know, short ones have their own uses. Okay, see the difference? The main one was the long one, right?
Calm down, thirsty boys.
Got these three off. The two short ones, go for those two. Now we're gonna get under, down and dirty. We're gonna want to get rid of both of the tail fairings. Same size screw for the tail fairings.
Like the booty shot.
Stick my ass out in it when I ride. But I feel like it's unnatural to actually ride like that.
To like stick your ass out?
Yeah, while you're riding.
Yeah. What's next, girl?
Now we gotta take the tail off.
Okay.
There's different clips and whatnot. It's easier to start from the bottom. Slide your fingers in. There we go. There we go.
Bam, bam.
Bam. Two on the top. Gotta be careful for that one. So it goes in like that. So you want to like sort of
Got it.
push it out like that.
Get into the tight spot, girl.
It's pretty tight.
Oh my God, I feel like as I let that play, it goes down a little. Why do you have your hand on your head? You're like, oh my God. Don't worry, I wasn't gonna let it rock too long. The point of the video is not for those areas where you have your hand on your head, really, which I totally get. It's really to kind of highlight you working on, and I know that's not your bike because your bike's a different color. So I'm assuming you do some of the work yourself. So some of the more simpler stuff, or at least I can say simpler because this could be considered complicated to some people. Or either that you've done it on yours and then you're helping her out. Was that the same lady you were referring to a little bit earlier?
Yeah, Kirati.
Kirati.
Miss Kirati. Yeah.
By the way, you thirsty boys, if you want to see that video, there's a lot more innuendos in there that you might enjoy. So,
I have 4 brothers, okay?
But really dope to see you guys, taking apart, that tail tidy together, and it's not, being taken to someone else to get done. So just kind of talk to us about you working on your own bikes. I mean, this one was not yours, but I'm guessing you've done a lot of your own work, right?
To be completely honest, that the tail tidy on my bike and swapping out the windscreen and the mirrors to the Rizomas is the only thing I've done myself on my bike.
Okay.
To be completely honest, I know I'm not too mechanically inclined. I know I can follow instructions well, so when it comes to something like a tail tidy that's just plug and play, I felt like I could do that on my own and make a video out of it. But when it comes to, I know I've seen like whenever someone else does work on my bike, like I watch, but I'd much rather to use like their expertise, their familiarity around a bike and working on a bike, especially when, this is like a leader bike, right? If anything, if I've messed up on anything, like such as an oil change, it's like not only an expensive fix, but it could also be like a deadly mistake as well, you know? So I personally just did not want to put that on me, right? I'm not saying putting on someone else, but it's more so like trusting their familiarity with working around and being more mechanically inclined than I am. And to be quite honest, it's like I don't truly like care too much to know like how to do these things if I can just, because it's spending time and energy to learn how to do something when I can just easily, use someone else who's already put that time. It's like delegating, my roles. My role is to like just get on this bike and know what I'm doing for the most part, like on this bike, versus like knowing exactly how to take it apart and then put it back together. It's like I feel like some people's minds work better when it comes to stuff like that, and they're just more mechanically inclined. But for me, I just want to make sure it works and it's working well, and then I can get on it and just ride it.
So here's the thing. I think for most people, they start off early on where it's not like they're just riding, really just enjoying it. I think you slowly kind of inch your way into it, just like that, like a tail tidy, like you said, like you mentioned, bar and mirrors, stuff like that. Those are all like entry level stuff. And then again, as you progress, if start feeling a little bit more understanding of the bike and how it works, then you can do more and more. But which I think that's kind of cool that you can just, I'm not saying being honest with yourself, but at least being, I guess it is like just being honest with yourself instead of you just like, hey, I'm going to spend time learning it and kind of get it done. Instead, not willing to roll the dice. Someone that's already allocated the time and the knowledge for it, you rather pay them and get it done. I think very similarly, I think 650 Eve share this similar thought process about it. Granted, it's his channel and kind of like he run it and kind of gives the bike away. It has to be done properly, but it's a similar thing. You might, instead of you spending time, learning and kind of doing it, if you can just get it done properly, which is kind of really, really cool. So do you foresee yourself ever going any further, trying to do a little bit more work on it, or as you progress, or you just enjoy riding? Because a lot of people in the beginning, you fall so hard for riding that you just want to be ready to ride.
That's pretty much where I'm at, where it's just like I just want to be able to ride. And I haven't had too much work done on my bike. Like the headers install, I had a friend do that, right, for the full system. It's something like that. Like I was there for the process, and like a great assistant, I would say. Like, I would grab that thingy for, for whatever, right? But as far as me trying to do something like that in the future, I honestly would just still rather, allocate and delegate to someone else.
Somebody in the chat mentioned here, these damn cents. I would have had 100,000 subs if I was a chick. Well, we know what kind of chick you'd be, sir.
Yeah.
You're not classy. She does not fall in that category, guys. Yes. Friendly face and a classy face. We're going to keep it that way. But definitely really, really cool. I want to kind of roll another clip of you, right? In the very beginning, I think it was your first crash of your first motorcycle. And I think it's kind of a cool thing that we talk about, because I think you're in the beginning, you're acclimating to riding, enjoying it quite a bit. And really, one of the things you, pretty much anybody that's watching this could clearly tell, you're pretty open-minded. Even you're coming from a place where it's a little bit more sheltered, and you're willing to kind of learn and understand. Because through your video, you mentioned how you started riding a lot, you enjoyed it quite a bit, and you're excited to learn, right? But people kept on reinforcing you how great you are, how amazing you are, and you got into your own head. By the way, guys, thirsty boys out here, I'm not even gonna say guys anymore, you thirsty boys out here, she knows the meaning of accountability. Yes. Salute. I like it. Yeah, you even mentioned in the video on how you got into your own head of how great you were, and that's how you managed to actually crash the first bike, which I thought that was super dope on how you could spot that, and I think you could course correct really quickly. And it's not a very common thing. Even with a guy, you see things like this happen where it's like, yeah, no, it wasn't me, man. I had to lay it down, blah, blah. Listen, nobody wants to lay down their bike, either crash it or not, dude, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So let me roll that real quick, and then we'll chat about it. Let's take a look. And I saw that, and I was like, damn, that's a tough one, man. And it looks like it quickly dawned on you the very minute it happened. Let's take a look. Good.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It has been far too long, and a lot has happened since my last video. Nonetheless, I wanted to make sure I posted my next video before the year ends. Knowing me, it'll probably upload at 11:59 p.m. But hey, that was my work ethic for the entirety of my academic career, and I still got my degree. A useless one in psychology though. Nah, I'm just kidding. It wasn't just a degree in psychology. But nah, what I learned in college provided a strong foundation of who I am today. Which brings me to today's topic, the origins of my bike life. My solid founding bike daddy, the Ninja 400. I felt like my first video with actual content had to be about the 400. I've been through a lot on it, you know? As it was my first bike, it was also with this bike that I was introduced to the biker community, allowing me to meet all types of people. Ultimately, my experiences have shaped my mindset towards riding and have helped me determine what's truly important to me. For this video, I want to dive into my perspective on some key experiences on the 400 and what I learned from them. I also just want to share some of my favorite clips. So sit back, grab a Red Bull or two. No.
By the way, it seems like you're very obsessed with Red Bulls. It's like a sponsorship waiting to happen here. So
Actually,
Who knows?
I
Maybe.
still am. When riding,
Yeah, yellow.
it's
mainly
like
the
I'm in
yellow
a
one.
flow state of reactivity to what's going on around me, mainly with the traffic patterns of cars. I hate to say it, but it's almost like a video game for me. I mean, at that point as a rider, I felt like I kept leveling up and increasing my stats with each ride. Which I was, you know, I steadily beat the boss levels of riding on the freeway, lane splitting, rev matching, U-turns, etc. However, what I didn't anticipate was friendly fire in a solo RPG. My own brain betrayed itself. I target fixated. I was following my buddy. We entered this tricky turn pretty hot, and there was stopped traffic ahead. While positioning myself to avoid the cars in time, I turned wide. I was afraid of hitting the curb. I stared at the curb. I hit the curb.
You okay? You good? I'm gonna help you get your bike up.
I was so mad at myself. I knew about target fixation. I knew it was a defense mechanism, but I never experienced it until that moment. I then knew what it felt like to not be in control while riding. What it felt like to fall victim to myself. The reason why I say this moment was so important to me is because it developed the best riding skill I have today. The not today maneuver. It's honestly pretty OP. This move is when I feel myself losing control.
So really, really dope. The reason why I kind of rolled that clip and let it ran through for a little bit, I really love the fact that, you know, it seems to be like a common trend, and I think you don't see that very often. Just the accountability factor, and you seem to want to learn and grow from each things. You know, you could see the disappointment that moment you turned around, like, damn, that, like, I think you were just keeping it classy, but that's usually when us guys go, fuck, damn, man, that was the look you had. And I think immediately after you kind of reflect on it a little bit, even just watching the voiceover video, you can clearly tell that there was a reflection part of it. And I'm going to play another part of this clip here. I'm going to hold that while you're talking. So just kind of walk us through what happened a little bit and how it didn't happen again. I know you kind of explained it, but just a little clarity and stuff like that. And some of the best practices, some of the stuff that you would have done differently that day.
So pretty much, as I explained in the video, it's I target fixated. I came in too hot on that like curve, and it's a weird curve too. So it's like before you don't know you're in the curve until you're already in it, especially if you're speeding. I think I was going like 50 to 60 miles per hour. But yeah, it was just the moment where I froze. It's and it's at that moment I realized I froze, that I was fixating on the curb, right? So like, yeah, I stared at the curb. I was like, oh snap, I'm gonna hit the curb. Kept looking at the curb, and then I hit the curb. And it all happened super quickly, but it wouldn't have happened if I didn't freeze, right?
Yeah.
But I had never experienced that before, right? And I knew, like I said in the video, like I knew about target fixation, like I knew that's a defense mechanism, but I didn't feel it. And I feel like the way your brain works is like once you do you can feel your defense mechanism kicking in,
Yeah.
right? And if you're more familiar with it, you can sort of like, you're like, oh shit, this is happening. Like it's like it's all super quick processes in your head, right? But when you can feel it happen, you can snap yourself out of it quicker because you're more familiar with it, because you know what's going on. Whereas if it's an unfamiliar feeling, then you're gonna have a slower reaction time, you know? So it's like a pattern that you can recognize and your brain can recognize, and it's sort of like, because that happened, my brain can instantly recognize that me crashing and getting hurt can happen if I stay in this mindset. But it's all such a super quick process, right? But our brains are like super cool. Sorry.
So would you say that this happened either? I think two things you mentioned, like people kind of ramping you up, like, yeah, you're so good. Because what happened early on, I think when everybody rides in the beginning, you turn to sponge things very quickly because of the excitement. It's almost like learning something new, that you're so excited that you're learning so much. And to a lot of people, that can appear that, oh my God, she's way ahead. Because what tends to happen, until some mistakes happen, you never really kind of learn from it. And I think the other thing I wanted to kind of touch on was the impact this had on you afterwards. Because one really cool thing, even there's so many videos, you'll see you riding, you're whipping around, just very comfortable. Immediately after this happened, I'll show you this one thing that came up on this clip. Let's take a look, boys. That we weren't making those mistakes prior, I'd say. But let's take a look here on this clip. Which I don't think that would happen normally.
Quicker to get out of it. Honestly, I'm glad that I experienced this early on in my riding journey. It humbled the crap out of me and forced me to hold myself even more accountable. There's no room for any oopsie moments if I can't make that last second save. Like this, for example. Whoa, shit. Sorry. Oh my god. What was that? Fuck! Holy shit, man. Mira! This was a bit after I crashed. It was...
So the reason why I played this, I'm not that I'm like pointing like some of these things, like It's a thing. It's a thing that's happened to pretty much anyone that rides after something traumatic happens. Like there's a recuperating period, which I think is kind of dope. You didn't stop riding and kind of panic and stuff. You kept on going, and with some of these small mistakes, like you start building back your confidence, kind of thing. So, did you find that some of these things happen a little bit more frequent after, or you quickly kind of start course correcting because again you were honest with yourself regarding it, and you knew that like you said, your brain kind of betrayed you, kind of thing like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think a big part of it is being honest with myself, right? As soon as the crash, did happen, as you mentioned, like I look back and I was just like disappointed, right? And I was disappointed in myself mainly, right? And even the clip you just played where I like turned wide and I was screaming, but I was screaming at myself because I was like, this happened after like I crashed, right? So I was just like, why are you doing this? Like it happened like months after, right? So it's but I wanted to get back on right away and I wanted to redeem myself. Even though it's like I'm not proving anything to anyone, right? But I just wanted to be better as a rider for me, right? To be on top of it, to be quick with it, right? Because I had already like recognized like what was going on with my defense mechanism like kicking in. I wanted to be able to react better with that knowledge, right? It's like leveling up constantly, right?
Yes.
I didn't want to regress. I wanted to, but yeah, it happened a few times. After that happened, like I had speed wobbles for the first time.
Yep. In that video, you talk about that, how you're like, not today. Really awesome.
Yes, that's what I meant. Is like crashing was the most important thing for me because it literally elevated my riding to a completely different experience. And honestly, that's why I don't recommend like a super big bike to anyone for their first time like on the streets. Not because they can't handle it, because they very well can, right? Even my bike, the S1K, it's relatively like the easiest leader bike you can get on. The electronics are like so superior. I feel like I've forgotten how to manually shift because I've gotten spoiled with like the quick shifter and the auto blipper. But no, I can do it. But with that happening on the 400 and having that experience of crashing, it's only made me a better rider. So more honestly, with time and with seat time, mainly, like more situations are going to pop up, and some that we can be prepared for or not. But the biggest thing is how you react, how your brain reacts, and how quick you are with being able to like stick to a decision, right? Because there's sort of if you're going very fast, there's not really much time to like contemplate or doubt yourself. There's no room for self-doubt, on the bike. And I feel like experiencing that and experiencing the not today, move, the ultimate, power move, that's allowed me to really just be on top of it and keep myself accountable, like I said.
So here's the thing. I think this is something that happens with a lot of us that ride bikes. I think there's a moment of defeat when something bad like this happened, or if this experience happened. And I think it happens to all of us. And I think coming out of that hole is a very powerful thing, right? Because what happens really quickly, a few things happen really quickly. I think probably like 3 things, right? First, you try to fix your bike quickly as possible because it kind of like erase. It's like a mental thing, right? You want to erase that it happened, so you try to fix it really quickly where there's no memory of it, right? So the bike looks perfect again, and then you go out, right? You want to ride as fast as you rode before. And if you're not, it's like, what happened? It's like something weird happens. Because I've been there before. I've crashed before. We usually ride on the mountains and stuff like that. And I remember going out on in the mountains here in New York. And like 3 of us, Pete, the Greek, and a friend of mine, we just kind of went out and riding early in the morning. We usually go out early in the morning, stay all day, do like a big, 600-mile ride. And I crashed really badly, just kind of like dipping into a right turn corner, and weirdly my bike wasn't damaged. It was just wild. My bike was not damaged at all. The brunt of it was taken by my frame slider, and immediately after that, like I went home and I swap my frame sliders back. And after that, every time I would go out, it's like, okay, I want to see how fast I am again. I just kept on asking myself how fast I am again. It's like, maybe, am I getting slower? I mean, granted, as I watched the video over, I find out it rained the day prior, so there was a lot of gravel. So I came in kind of hot. And of course, you know, I had to apply that brake. The bike's gonna stand right up. And I think immediately after that, I kept on challenging to try to go faster and faster, because it was like, did I get slower, or am I not as good as a rider? So I think that's where you were at. It was just kind of super, super interesting. And I think it's very cool. And I think as soon you get to the point where you're honest with yourself, oh yeah, I kind of screwed up, I gotta adjust certain things. That's when you can get back into the same time mind space when you're out there on the road.
No, yeah, I agree completely.
So I'm gonna rock this clip here, which I think is really, really cool. It's gonna be you and Nicole that met up, and so this is kind of a wavy going on here, guys. Went from bright to the crash. Now we're gonna show some of this dope ass riding that you and Nicole did in the canyons where you guys met up, and I think it's a really, really cool thing, because between you and Nicole, I definitely see similarities in terms of classiness. We'll just leave it at that. Shut up, thirsty boys. That's totally gonna become a thing now on the channel, me saying thirsty boys. But yeah, really, really cool. You guys met up and rode the canyons, which is really cool. And you've never even ridden those roads, so that's kind of really cool.
Hot. Let me tell you, it is hot.
Check the mic and make sure it sounds
oh
right,
my god,
boys.
I'm so hot. Whew, it's hot. Whew, hot. So hot down there. Now I'm cold. Ready? You guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're gonna be riding up some mountain roads, and it is hot. Let me tell you, it is hot today. The weather in California has been very bipolar. I'm excited to go up the mountain where there is cooler temperatures. And today I'm going to be riding with one of my lady friends, Revmeera. She hasn't had as much experience in the canyons before, so I'm just taking her up these mountain roads. They're not as twisty as some of the canyon roads. So I just want to ride with her and introduce her to the mountain roads, get her a little more comfortable on the twisties. She also has an S1000RR. That's how we met and bonded in the first place. What is this person doing? Her bike is nice. I'll show you now when we get there. I'm not taking my RR out because it's still in the shop, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have definitely taken that out. You should be there in like a minute or two. Woo! So we're just meeting up at a gas station just at the bottom of the mountain. We're going up to Lake Arrowhead today. Oh, there she is. Hey!
I shed like 25 minutes.
I know. Yeah, you got here quick. Oh my god, I'm so hot.
I'm melting. I have to take it.
Whew, it's hot. Yeah, it's a nice jacket. It looks like it's worn in nicely. I'm just breaking these in right now, and they're so stiff, and my knuckles been getting so red. Yeah, they're the same ones I had before, but the carbon on my other one's just all gone. Ready? Oh, I miss my BMW. Ooh. Go for it.
Okay.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna hear you start up. Hey. Yeah, she has the SE Project slip-on, and I can't remember what header she has, but it sounds so good. That's pretty much all I'm gonna be hearing up the mountain because my little triple isn't that loud.
Aw, I'm staring at me. Kids are so cute with bikes. So we're going up that way, yeah. So we'll be taking a left at the light, yeah.
Straight up, right?
Yep. Woo! You know, I take for granted how much easier the Triumph is to maneuver than the S1000. I'm a pretty similar stance to Revmeera. And, you know, it's hard out here trying to maneuver such a huge bike, being so little. Woo! Hot! This isn't like a crazy canyon road like Azusa or GMR or ACH, Angel Crest Highway, or anything like that, but you do get into some turns around here.
Now, white boy.
Ooh, it's a bit dodgy. See how she's feeling. I'm going too fast or slow. Feeling good? Yeah?
But I've gotten to like lean a bit.
Okay, good.
I'm noticing like I need to like, at first I wasn't leaning off of the bike enough. And
Yeah.
leaning off the bike more. And
I know, I was trying to see behind, but my mirrors are so shaky. Yeah, like use your body a lot to kind of come off.
I'm really good at correcting myself and just.
Yeah, good.
Time I'm like, oh, I'm more good.
I know, look at that. Where's the chicken strip?
Ready?
Yeah.
Really, really dope seeing this clip. Both Revmeera and Dragoness Moto going in, putting in some of those leaning angles. Really dope. Oh man, that's really cool to see. And I wanted to kind of play that right after talking about, you know, the crash and things like that, and you adjusting, and even till this current video that I played, that how you're adjusting, even you observing through the ride, which is kind of a rare thing actually. I think a lot of people that are hypercritical, like guy riders that are looking to perfect and being faster and faster and faster, tend to think this way. But I think it's not a super common thing that you see. It's not like I'm saying girls don't do it, but it's not as common really and stuff. So really, really dope to see that. I think you're probably gonna be an extremely fast rider over time because you're constantly course correcting and self-observing yourself. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to hit the canyons again with Nicole.
Do you guys ride often or no? It was like every now and then kind of thing.
Well, it's an every now and then kind of thing because she's a bit far.
Okay.
But I used to live a lot closer. Yeah, I definitely want to ride more with Nicole, especially, and I've asked her here and there. But if I do go and ride with her, I definitely want to go to the canyons again with her specifically. So it's funny enough, when I was on my 400, like I took it to the canyons a few times, but another video that I wanted to do, and I've just lagged a whole bunch on YouTube videos and whatnot, but is like who you're riding with is extremely important. Not only is there like a sort of chemistry or like riding pattern, but you know, some are more courteous or considerate to the other people riding with them than others. The first time I went into the canyons on my 400, there was I was riding with two others, and one of the guys would overtake me mid-turn, mid-corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'd speed up past me mid-corner and then slow back down and then just repeat the process. And it freaked me out, right? Because I'm obviously taking my time and trying to enjoy just like, you know, feeling out the lines and what I can do like with the bike, right? And the canyons are a pretty sketchy place, you know.
Yes.
You know, a lot can happen, and there's not as much room for reacting, which is why I like try to avoid the canyons for a good bit. But yeah, so that freaked me out. But with Nicole especially, like I felt very comfortable. We communicated before. I don't think we had our Cardos on during, but after as well, we're both very communicative. She understood that I was fairly new and I was taking my time with it. And, then I got more comfortable. She's like, you know what, you lead, on the way back. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. Or so it's just, there's a nice sort of respect going on. But which is why, like, honestly, if I want to learn how to corner my bike and like, challenge myself with cornering and leaning it, I want to take it to the track versus the canyons. But I do know the canyons have their appeal,
Yeah.
But from everything I've heard, I was just like, if I do want to like, because I have a bike that I can grow into
Yes.
and also like take my time with it as well, So I'm not rushing it too much. I obviously like made quite a big jump, from the 400 to the S1K, but I have a bike that I'm not going to get sick of ever. Ever. I'm still not sick of it.
Well, I think based on us talking, I don't usually recommend for people to kind of jump from small bike to big bike, and it's not like a cookie cutter, black or white thing. I think it's always based on the person and maturity level and self-control. I think in a lot of cases, some people could go from a small bike to a big bike and understand where they are, how they could achieve certain things, or like, for example, as you're mentioning, you could grow into that bike. Again, being self-aware, you can. A lot of people tend to get mind blown off adrenaline, and then that's where things start to happen. But before I even go into that, what's kind of interesting is that you mentioned about respect and about riding with people that you're comfortable with. Do you find it's a lot better that you ride with another woman or riding with guys? Because I like how you mentioned that, that you had the stark contrast between you riding with a guy. I think what tends to happen sometimes, especially if it's a girl and stuff like that, and to be honest, let's be real here. We like to kind of show like that's, look how cool we are. We're just good riders, and it's a macho thing. We do it with one another, and I get it. It could definitely be scary when somebody fly passing you and stuff like that. If you're unaware what they're doing, it could startle you. That could cause issue, and I think that's kind of weird that doing it. If you do it once, I get it, but slowing down and then passing again, it's like, what is happening at this point? So I think the point here is, do you find it's easier to ride with a woman or with guys, or only certain guys you get that with and it dies down? Or do you course correct them, like, listen, dude, you can't be passing me like this. This is what's happening. Just be straightforward. Because I think us guys definitely value that. Somebody could come up and say, listen, that's bullshit. Don't do that again. It throws me off. Granted, we're not going to get our feelings hurt about it. We're going to be like, okay, I shouldn't do that. Because sometimes we don't know. We're thinking it's fine. So, yeah, go ahead. What do you think? You tell me.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter if you're a girl or a guy when I'm riding. I've dealt with, I guess, I've had to do a lot of course correcting, but on the road, unless you're connected like to a Cardo, which honestly I prefer listening to my music than hearing like someone just randomly, pop in and like I don't know, sometimes that throws me off. I like being like, my music helps me like stay focused.
Okay.
But I can see how like I've ridden with plenty of like of lady riders who like to take it easy and just cruise and chill. I like to go fairly fast, and some ladies aren't okay with that, but also some men aren't okay with that. There's a lot of men that also just prefer cruising and they don't really like to, split lanes fairly quickly or, what I enjoy is the sort of the pattern game with traffic, right? And weaving in and out of traffic. Although it can be like, it's not the, it's not the most chill, situation, but there's something with specifically that situation and example I gave with the 400 and that guy passing me. He knew it was my first time in the canyons. He knew I was, apprehensive about it, and he knew I was, going to take it easy, right? There's one thing to like pass each other and like, right now I can like ride with a group of riders that also go quick, fast pace, and like some are doing wheelie flybys next to you, but as I'm a bit more of I've had more seat time since then, right? There's sort of a pattern with the people you ride with where you sort of know what they're doing, they know where you're at, you know where they're at, but it's something that you sort of develop as well. It's a skill in the sense of being able to ride with the group and sort of determine what people are, doing. And it's a certain pattern. I don't know how to explain it, but it's sort of a rhythm, of like, oh, I'm going to go ahead real quick. Oh, I'm going to go follow you. And then I'm going to fall back. And then, because you've fallen back a little bit and we're taking it easy for now. And then, oh, we're going to go quick again. Let's do this, like this little weaving pattern.
Well,
I don't know if that makes sense.
no, it makes total sense. Completely understand. There's a thing that I started doing as well. I used to kind of ride similar with. I'd meet people in some of your videos I've seen where people are like, hey, I want to ride with you. Well, kind of like joining. It's the thing that all of us do. There's another biker there. We just join the ride. And you were mentioning how you're going to meet people that you've never met before. You can't just show up with a bunch of other people, which is kind of a common way to kind of get yourself out of a situation also that you don't want to. Because I find before I used to ride with anybody on the road, I would just join, which I don't anymore because I don't know their riding style. If they're gonna go fast or anything like that. For example, through New York City, a lot of my older YouTube videos would be weaving through a lot of traffic and stuff like that. Granted, I don't know how great that is. It is kind of a skill to have to go through traffic and stuff like that, and it makes for an entertaining YouTube video. And I quickly found that when I am doing those videos where I'm going through New York City, Manhattan, and stuff like that, it's best to do it solo because you can't really follow a group. You're basically freestyling the entire traffic your way through. And I quickly learned, okay, if I'm going to the mountains with a couple of people in the morning, 3 or 2 or something like that, that's a different type of ride. If I'm shooting a YouTube video through New York City, that's me solo, just doing my thing. If it's a night rip where everyone's gunning it hard, that's different too. So they all start falling into different classes, and you end up finding which group that works best for that and kind of understand. Even to the point where I don't even shoot YouTube videos anymore with people because I found that I was either delaying people or swapping batteries, stuff like that. So I just kind of really try to just make my own show of myself only. So I'm kind of transitioning here to you doing YouTube. But before that, I'm going to just put this question out here because Sasong mentioned here, if you've ever heard of the issue with the S1000 RR with the 6K mile. It's the, I think, ignition coils or anything like that. Have you encountered that with your bike?
Yes.
Oh, wow. They were saying how it's a hit or miss in the chat. So before we dive into YouTube, might as well just mention about that. What happened to your bike, and was it covered in a warranty and stuff?
Yes. So I'm not sure if you actually dove a bit with my Instagram and whatnot, but did you know that my motor blew at 3,500 miles?
Yes, I did.
So that happened, and we can dive into that, but like, let me answer the coil question first. But they swapped out my motor, all covered under warranty. The brand new coils on this new motor all failed within 1,000 miles.
Holy shit.
So like, not all of them, but like 2, I believe one. I'm so sorry, my cat is like meowing. Let me just.
No, my dog's been running around. I'm sure you've heard her too. So, welcome to the party.
I'm just gonna open the door for her so she can.
Yeah, all good. Go right ahead. Wow. Am I the only one that's oblivious to this? Well, I'm not a BMW guy, but that's pretty wild. At least it was covered under warranty. Now, the problem that I think about this, which I'll kind of ask Mira as well, how does that impact a bike that had a blown motor? And where you replace the engine, that's going to be after she explains. I'm curious because if you resell the bike, technically the engine block doesn't have the same serial number anymore, right? So that's a whole other thing. Does that drop the value? I mean, there's so much that's going to go in through my head right now. But yeah, go on, finish telling us, and then from there you could probably try kind of chime us in regarding that.
Yeah. So I believe 1 or 2 coils were burnt from 1,000 miles into the new motor. After I unlocked it again, right? But
I'm just gonna let you explain this real quick. Just give me a second. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
Let me see. There you go. Your screen. Go ahead.
Okay. Cool. So it happened 1,000 miles in. 1 or 2 coils got burnt. They replaced only those 2 coils. So then it happened again at 6,000 miles into the new motor, and then they only replaced again the single coil that was burnt, and then it happened again at at I think 11 or 12,000 miles. So, oh no, it happened 4 times total. So I think it happened again at 9,000 miles, and then it happened again at 11,000 miles. But the thing is, the reason why it kept happening is because they only kept BMW, the dealership, only replaced the single or 2 coils that burnt. So after the 4th time, I was like, listen, I talked to my guy at the dealership. I was like, listen, like this can't keep happening again. I'm stranded on the side of the freaking freeway with my bike. My bike's not turning on. Like this is this is dangerous, right? You know, like come on, like what's going on? Like I told him, like you guys are only replacing the single or like 2 coils. Like replace the whole pack. And the yeah. Then they did, and then I haven't had any issues so far. Fingers crossed. And now I'm at 22,000 miles.
So you said it happened twice, right?
4 times.
4 times. God damn it. So that's kind of a bummer. In a lot of ways, by the way, I had to get a drink because, oh my God, I'm like drying out.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, I was saying like it happened 4 times, but it kept happening because they kept only replacing the single, like if 1 coil or 2 coils burnt out or like burnt, they only replaced those coils and never replaced the whole pack, including the spark plugs.
So
right?
It was causing by just doing some.
Yeah, because when it happens, when like the coils go out, it can affect like the whole like system, you know, or whatever. So the last time it happened, I like told them straight up, I was like, hey, like this can't keep happening. I'm getting stranded on the side of the road. This one time it was when the tow truck drivers were like on strike, like across I don't know if it happened elsewhere in the country, but in California because of the gas prices and like contracts or whatever, but like I didn't get like picked up till like 4 a.m. because no tow was coming for me, and it happened on my way to work. It was like before 11 p.m. So I was waiting there for like 4 or 5 hours on the side of the road. And like it's funny enough, like CHP blocked it off because I like stopped in the left lane because I'm always in the HOV lane. But I was on the left side of the freeway. They like, you know, stopped traffic for a little bit so I can move it across. And then HP guy like helped me walk my bike a mile to the next exit so I could be. Yeah, so that was crazy. But anyways, after they replaced all the coils and the spark plugs, they nothing's happened so far.
So I have a lot of questions about this, and I'm a closet BMW guy, so definitely something that I kind of probably have in my scope, possibly. But so my first question here is, how does this impact your resale value with them having to swap your engine block out since it's blue? Did they do any kind of let me see, almost like give back for the issue that you're having, or it's like it's your issue, it is what it is kind of thing, or how did that play out?
So when my motor blew, the biggest concern I had was, did I do something wrong? Right? I jumped from a 400 to a liter bike. Like, did I do something wrong for this to happen? And if so, I want to know. Like, I don't know. Like, I was very honest with myself. I obviously don't have that much experience. I've only ridden a Ninja 400 before this, right? It's like, did I cause this to happen? Right? That was the biggest concern.
Yeah.
BMW guy told me straight up, and I was getting a lot of hate for it too. They're like, see, this is why women can't be on like bigger bikes. There's the whole thing. I posted it on my story right as soon as it happened, and I have the video. But I'm just like, you know, I was like, oh my God, like you can see the smoke and like, oh my God, it was scary. But it was awesome at the same time. But anyways, but the BMW guy calls me and he's like, look, there is nothing that you did wrong that caused this failure. This is a factory default. They explained it as there's a fault in one of the pins for the valves. The valve dropped, broke the connecting rod, shot out of the engine case. There was oil like all over my back tire. And
Holy shit.
if you look at the video, it's crazy. But But I had to stop in the middle of the road because I could feel my rear tire slipping because it was soaked in oil. So it was scary. But I didn't freak out until afterwards because, it's a not today method. I was like figuring out what was going on. And then when I could stop, I could scream,
Not today, Satan.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as like, you said there's like a different serial code for the engine block and the thing. You can update that with the DMV. So there's a process to update that. But like the amount of miles on the bike that I have on my bike, it says 20, I'm almost at 26,000. It's like 25 something, but that's including the 3,500 from the first motor. So there's no way to rewrite, like there's 26,000 miles on the chassis, but that motor only has like 20 whatever.
See, that's exactly what I mean. That's the complication. Imagining you have to resell that bike, you have to really explain this. How does that impact, like, the person gonna be like, well, I can't give you this amount for the engine blew before. How does that happen? What does BMW say regarding that, and how do they deal with it? Is there any compensation? Because technically, I mean, realistically, nothing really bad happened. But if you're in the canyons, you're cornering, that happened. This could be a lawsuit.
Very bad.
Yeah. So I'm just curious the handling of the situation regarding the dealer, or is it one of those things? Oh, we'll just fix it now. You have your bike back, kind of thing, and then you just kind of keep it nice and low key, kind of thing.
So as far as like how the dealer, I took it to the dealer as soon as it happened. I took it to the dealer that I bought it at, but they were taking their time with figuring out what was going on. So I found another dealer that was like, yeah, we'll get it diagnosed in like a day or two. But ever since then, I've been working with that dealer, and they've been amazing. But
yeah, go ahead.
As far as like how they handled it, my biggest concern was like, did I do something wrong, right? Because I was getting a lot of hate for it. Like people are like, this is what happens when you're like pushing this bike so much or whatever. But the thing is, like, the bike is like made for it. It's made to be like in high RPMs. It's a race bike. It's for the track. Like it's an S1000 of all things, right? But I also knew that, with the new gen can come issues. I was fairly like realistic about that. To be honest, there weren't many left in my color. So I honestly didn't want to, like, people were like, oh, lemon law that, blah, blah, blah. Like, make them give you a new bike. But I personally, like, I didn't want that, right? And I didn't want to, like, confront the dealership and, like, make a big deal out of it because, it could have been bad. It could have been very, very bad, but it wasn't. Like, I didn't even drop the bike. I was able to stop in the middle of the street.
I'm not going to lie. I would have asked for a new bike. Just out of principle, it's like if I shell out, the whole money and buy the bike that happens under warranty or whatever, even though they would have fixed it, I would have been like, we got to talk to corporate. I need a new bike. Just out of principle, I think it's a better thing for the company, because if it's a known issue, known like factory defect, like usually what happens in most major corporation, they do a recall for everything.
Yeah.
So, there's a couple of questions coming in. Sasong mentioned lemon law. I think it's called lemon law. You're supposed to issue out like either a replacement bike or something like that, or it could cause a lawsuit. There's a few comments. By the way, guys, I am working on trying to get like someone to do the comments and other things. So hopefully, we could smooth things out a lot better through the stream, but it requires a lot. And taking some off my plate, making sure everything running smooth. Super excited about the stream and how things are moving along. Kuya mentioned here, sorry about your experience with your S1000 RR. Let me see here. I think there's a factory 3-year warranty with 36,000 miles. So
it was all under warranty.
So they're expecting something like this, possibility of it happening multiple times, which is kind of rough.
At the time, it wasn't a known defect, right?
Okay.
I have a 2020 S1000 RR. So it's the first year actually released. The second year it was released along with the 2019 ones, which included the red model.
Okay.
The first ones in the States, right? And I got my bike right after a brake caliper recall, right? So they couldn't sell the bikes initially, and I honestly got a killer deal. So I was like really stoked about that. But honestly, like, I get what you're saying about like it being the principle, like, to get a new bike. But truly, like, I honestly let all the like sort of comments that I was getting in, and like knowing my like lack of experience, I let that sort of, like I let that get to me a bit, and I felt not like I wasn't confident enough to be like, hey, give me a new bike, because I part of me was like, shit, like, is this my fault? Even though he told me it wasn't, is still like a, I don't know, I just couldn't like confront them and like make it like a, big deal as well. It's partly, I guess, a character flaw there to not stand up in the moment. But
No, it is not really. You don't necessarily have to. I'm just saying, in terms of me, I probably would, but it's one of those things because there's a lot happening. It's your baby, you love the bike, and this is happening. As a passionate rider, you just can't wait to get your bike back just to ride. You're not thinking about long term, like I might sell it. Something like that might happen. I would probably either put that card in my back pocket. If you ever upgrade, you go back to the same dealer you bought it from. Say, I didn't get a brand new bike even though it went bad. So how can you make right for the mistake? There's that way. Also, I think that's kind of dope that you are joining YouTube. Well, in and out, dipping your feet in and out. And I think so. Instagram is your main thing, but I think it's cool that in most cases, any social media personality that's thriving, I think you're thriving for sure, didn't do like a big blast of the brand on social media and made it look really bad. I think you handled it very, very well, at least the best possible. I saw the clip where it shows us. You had like a small clip of it, and you didn't kind of blast the company or anything like that. Any particular reason that you went on that approach? Which I would probably do the same exactly what you did, because I like to handle things on the back end. I would never kind of do this whole hurrah. Even if I would be upset, I'd probably talk to them outside, but not through my network, in my personal opinion. So just mention that. What do you think?
Honestly, at that time, I was still fairly low in like, and with how big I was, I guess. I don't know. I personally don't think like, well, like I said, I was thinking in my head, like maybe there is something that I did wrong. So how am I gonna like blast BMW, and say like, in the case that it was something that I did, right?
Yeah.
I was like, did I like not do something right? Did I not follow like a certain thing that leader bike people do, Yeah. It was just still like a lack of like knowledge and like, confidence on my end. And I honestly just let that get to me. But as far as, making it into a huge deal, a bunch of people are like, that's what you get for getting a BMW, this and that. But honestly, I still would have wanted the same bike. Like if they gave me like my money back or whatever, and I like demanded like for a new bike, I would get the same exact bike. And I wanted that color too, because like honestly, like I've been through like a couple experiences on it so far, but for my motor to blow and for it to like go that smoothly, right, where I was able to stop and just feel the bike in general, like my experience on the S1K has been extremely smooth, even when it's like a situation like a motor blowing or my coil is going out. I've been able to handle each situation. I feel like it just shows that from times where it can like lack in certain terms, the bike excels in other areas, and maybe that's electronics or just me being comfortable enough on it. But I love the bike, so even though people are like, oh, BMWs are trash because of this, I responded, and like honestly, I wouldn't get any other bike.
I'm only laughing because I'm like on a Ducati, and I'm used to hearing stuff like, "Oh, you bought that bike, yeah." So welcome to the party. So I know this route all too well. So to be honest, this is kind of, I guess I'm not super BMW oriented, but I really like their bikes, and I've ridden Eebs. I had it for like a day and and really enjoy the bike. Very easy to ride.
One comment right here, Dope Skeletor said the motor blows smoothly should be a new tagline for BMW.
Oh my God, that is cold. That is cold as ice. By the way, guys, if you tuned in, if you're new here, definitely hit the subscribe button. I would truly appreciate it. We do have a Patreon as well. You could definitely join. Best man tier for your chance to win up to $1,000 worth of prizes and stuff, moto prizes, that is. So yeah. Let me see this. So YouTube needs the crackhead energy. Oh my God, you guys behave, thirsty boys. Wow. Yeah, this is pretty wild. I've never heard of the engine blowing. I've heard the coil issue, but I guess, I mean, it all depends where you get at and stuff like that. The other thing that's kind of weird, let's say if you do get into a space where you're just outside of 35,000 miles, does that mean if you make it to 35,000 mile, that means it won't happen? What if it does happen after that? Are you just stuck with the just dead bike, or you have to come out of pocket to fix it at this point? It's kind of scary.
Hmm. Yeah, with that, like, honestly, any issue that I've had, and I've developed a really good relationship with that dealership as well, which I feel like that was a good thing. Like, instead of me, like, blasting them or like doing something like dragging their name like on the internet, I feel like burning bridges, like you have to be like very conscious of that, and especially in the
And that's why
motorcycle.
you got to come back to YouTube. I'm sorry, I overtalked you right now. You got to come back to YouTube. Bring some class to YouTube. See, don't burn the bridges. Try to fix it. You could fix things. You can make it work. That's really dope. Very good insight being shared here, guys. By the way, Simon mentioned here you need to come back on YouTube and upload again, because they want to see you on YouTube. Like, go on, yeah.
I need to. I do. I really do. And that's what you were gonna go into, I believe, next, right? Is like YouTube and
Yep. Your take
posting.
on you being new to YouTube. Are you coming back? Do you find it a lot easier to be on Instagram, because you could quickly do it with your cell phone and capture some clips, upload it, cut it, while you're hanging out, having lunch or something like that. YouTube is a deep hole, rabbit hole of. It looks like it's easy on the outside, and for the people that catch the fire and keep running with it, it works perfectly fine. But for most, including myself, I think it's like a deep depth of learning and trial and error for you to get to a space where it's just all good. And I think you have something really good going. I think people are definitely gonna join your infectious energy. So you should have anything come back. So walk us through that time frame of you coming, because I know you said I think you have ADD, right? You said
Self-diagnosed ADD,
so.
of course.
Oh my God! So you don't have ADD? Oh my gosh! It's self-diag. You
Have
can't
you not
diagnose
seen me?
yourself.
Have you not seen me throughout this live stream? I think I've bit my lips like 300 times at
Nah.
least.
The thirsty boys are didn't even noticed.
Can't blame the Red Bull only,
Oh my God. Nah, you're just excited. You know what it is? It's not ADHD. You know what it is? If I were to guess, I think you're just excited about life and motorcycles.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that
Trust
until I get
me.
a diagnosis. But when I get that diagnosis, I'm gonna come back and be like, I told you.
You hit me up,
Like
you
I
tell
told
me. Absolutely not. Nah, you're excited, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, listen, most of us inside the helmet, that's what we sound like. You're just letting it out for people to hear. So that's all good.
Fair.
So,
But,
what do you think of YouTube in contrast with Instagram? Are you going to come back? It is a lot of work, but I think you have a good start, in my opinion.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I know the community in YouTube is definitely worthwhile. I feel like if you can, develop a good community on this platform, people are, I don't know, I feel like they show out on YouTube. I feel like the community is a lot more worthwhile. On Instagram, of course, it's a lot easier to make content. It's a lot easier to edit content.
Yes.
And to be honest, my specs right now on my laptop aren't really cutting it to develop and edit and post videos, and that has been a hindrance. But honestly, I have to blame it on like me for like not really going out and making more intentional content. I realized is after getting the S1K and sort of diving into that throttle therapy with like, the faster you go, like the more aggressive or intense you ride, the less you're thinking about, right? So once I tapped into that on the S1K, I realized that while riding, I'm talking less, right? I have my music going, which also doesn't help, right? But like if you are riding aggressively, you're more in tune with that, throttle therapy part, right? It's more of meditation, and you're not really like I'll start talking and then I'll like you can even see that in that video where I was riding home to like show my bike to my family.
Yep.
Like I sped up in that moment and like completely stopped my train of thought and then tried to go back to it. But I had like a specific topic in it and I was going a bit more casually, with like writing.
So
But
it's a specific skill. I'm just gonna tell you right now. So what happened is with YouTube or vlogging, I think there's gonna be a point I think all of us has been there, like where you gather your thoughts and then you start writing. There's gonna be a point in time where you're gonna be doing like 100 and you're gonna be telling a story. It's just, it becomes synonymous altogether. You know what the points you're gonna hit. You know some of the roads and stuff like that. You'll find that you start hitting areas that you know, and it's quick to tell a story in between those roads and stuff like that. But it's one of those things people tend to grow into, and even myself, I find, even if you look some of my beginning videos, you would see some of those pausing areas. Now you would see like certain things that I'm doing. I'm quickly going through a fast-paced area, corners, and I'm still kind of just like, yeah, this is what's gonna happen in the video, blah blah blah. It's one of those things that I think it's gonna be really, really cool, and I think a lot of people, based on what people are saying on the stream, the live chat, they definitely would like to see you on YouTube. YouTube is just time-consuming, man. That's the thing.
it is, but something that Dope Skeletor just mentioned is YouTube still the way to do it, or are things moving faster on Instagram or TikTok?
Yep.
What I've noticed and why I really truly agree that I need to get more into YouTube is that everything on Instagram and TikTok are moving faster, but so is the content. The content has to be short. It has to be like, you have to like tap into like people's like sort of short attention spans because they're flooded with being able to just scroll right ahead and like move on from something, like they're crying and the next thing they're laughing, or the next thing they're angry at something that a Karen's doing. There's so much that like you're just flooded with like different kinds of dopamine hits with the different like content that you're exposed to, that it's hard to really develop something, I feel like, genuine, if that makes sense, where people can actually get to know you, get to truly like dive into like what you stand for, and I feel like when you're building a community, that's where YouTube excels at, is that you can post these 10-minute long videos, or even 20-minute, or even longer, right? But people have more time to understand like who you are, what you really think or care about. You know how many times you can post like a clip on Instagram or TikTok, maybe you've experienced it, but then there's so much missing like insight, right? But people will go in on you, right? They'll be like, they'll assume everything under the moon about what they did not see in that video, and they miss the picture. And I feel like YouTube is a better platform for that.
Agreed.
So for me, it was more so I'm getting to the point where I'm feeling more ready with showing more of me, and like sort of like getting on this live stream, for instance, answering these questions. People have the chance to like get to know me a bit longer. If they're still tuned in by now, thank you so much, by the way.
Yeah, we still got a good amount of people here. Kuya mentioned here, do you when are you taking your double R to the track?
Yeah, I believe Nicole asked that earlier, but definitely this year. I'm aiming for, once it like warms up a little bit, April or May. So yeah, I've definitely gotten enough seat time on my S1K to where I feel confident enough to being able to challenge myself a bit more. And that'll be at the track. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
I have one more thing I just wanted to bring up before you go. I know there's a lot of comments and stuff are coming. I think some people mentioned here, I only had 2 ZX10, or I would have been dead already if I didn't have self-control. Oh, okay, that's just like a side conversation. Have any brands have reached out to you so far? Because I know you're pretty popular on Instagram and stuff like that.
I've had, I guess the biggest one for me would be Insta360.
Okay.
Right, being able to utilize their X3 camera and whatnot. As far as brands go, I mean, there have been a bunch different kinds of like motorcycle apparel ones, which are mainly like hoodies, but nothing really like, not gear related, but just more so like different like clothing brands and whatnot. But as far as like any like really big brands, I would say I've been approached by them.
That's not a bad thing. That was kind of more of a trick question. So you already got your foot in the door. If hoodie companies or smaller brands are reaching out, that means you have potentially for something bigger that's coming. So if somebody's spotting, so that's always a really cool. Like I said, it's a great start. I think your Instagram's gonna blow up pretty quickly at the pace you're going. Futuristic Viper mentioned here. Any chance for anybody to see you on a supermoto in the future?
I actually won a free supermoto class at this one track in here in California, but it's a SoCal Supermoto school. So it's like these mini supermotos, and like I actually won a free class for that. So I'm actually going to be going in the next few months. So I'm excited for that.
It's pretty dope.
Either next month or March.
So yeah. I'm gonna give you the floor, just to kind of let people know where they could find you, and I'm gonna definitely drop your link in the description so people can actually come and check you out, or at least subscribe to your channel and stuff like that. For when you start uploading again, they could find you and stuff like that. That'll be kind of cool. Before we kind of wrap up, I know we went over the hour and a half, which I'm gonna stick to a format for an hour and a half, but to be honest, I actually really enjoyed the conversation. So organically, just kept on rolling. So I'm gonna give you the floor. It's all you. Let the people know where they could find you.
Honestly, it's fairly simple. I'm mainly active on Instagram, and that's just at Revmeera. And if I do, when I make a comeback to YouTube, the first people that'll find out are the people on my Instagram, or if you're already subscribed to my channel. But hopefully that'll be soon. But if any updates on that will be through my Instagram as well. So just stay tuned with that, and stick around for the crackhead energy, right?
Oh my God, heard this crackhead energy. Cut it out, man. Cut it out. By the way, thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate it. The door's always open. If you ever have time, you want to come through and have a conversation, or if new things are happening, please feel free to come by. I'm sure the Thirsty Boys will be extremely happy. And I'm sure they're going to want to know, are you seeing somebody?
No, but I'm not looking either.
Oh, tone that down, Thirsty Boys.
See, that's me with the setting of the boundaries. I'm learning.
No, you're good. I had to throw that in there last minute because they're gonna be like, "Why didn't ask her?" They're gonna message me later. So this is what it is. Really cool, guys. Just so you know, I truly appreciate every single one of you coming through on a Sunday night and chill with your boy and our guests and enjoy our moto conversation. Enjoy you guys hitting the thumbs up, shopping at all the links in the description to support. If you guys can, if it's possible, if it's in your means, definitely hit up the Patreon. It's really dope seeing that come up. And we got a few people on there. So really dope. Shout out to you all that's joined the Patreon. And I think all packages were delivered. There's been a few more people who's joined. So those will be going out at least this week. If you guys would love to see anybody come on, definitely message me. Let me know. Really dope, guys. I'll catch you guys next Sunday at 8. Same time, same place. Later. Peace. That was awesome.
Are we done?
Yeah.